What school do you attend?
I go to Emerson College,
What is your graduation year?
2021.
What level of degree are you currently trying to achieve?
I am getting a BFA
In what major?
in theater design technology.
How are you completing your degree prior to the coronavirus?
Prior to the virus, I was taking classes in person, both at Emerson and a few other schools in Boston, as well as completing production assignments working on theater productions at Emerson.
And you were living on campus or
I lived on campus.
what was the approximate date of when you were first notified about the school's change in operation?
March 10th.
What is your school's final decision?
Ours, can you clarify?
Are they closed for the rest of the year? Are they going online for the rest of the year?
We're online for the rest of the year.
Okay. And then how are you completing your degree now?
I am now taking online classes on Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Are you at home or still on campus?
I am at home.
Did your university change the grading structure or give you the option to in response to the crisis?
Yes, they recently changed it to pass-fail. Optional pass-fail.
How do you feel about the news now that you've had time to reflect on the situation?
I think they did the right thing by making us all leave, but also online classes don't work as well, and they should have just clarified that no one should have the expectation that it's going to be as good or as rigorous, and probably given us tuition money back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very difficult situation, and I don't know what I would have done better, but a lot of things could have been planned better.
What classes are you taking specifically?
I am taking climate change, the ethics of free will and responsibility, and I'm taking a class at Mass Art called Color for Painting, and a class at Boston Architectural College called Freehand Drawing.
How do you feel those classes have been in adapting to online learning specifically?
So the two classes I'm taking at Emerson are academic, and they've adapted pretty well to online learning. Of course, they're not as good and we're not learning as much, but they work as online classes. You can still get all the content. The art classes that I'm taking at other institutions do not work as well online because you can't get the same kind of feedback while you're working, and it's just a lot easier to learn about making art in person than it is online. So those ones are really not as good, but still trying to have the same expectations, and that doesn't really work, and the same class length, so that's kind of hard. So overall, academic classes work. Non-academic classes, which I generally prefer, don't work.
How do you feel about the amount of time you were given for warning the potential changes in operation?
I think we were given the most amount of time they could have given us. Emerson made the decision pretty early compared to other schools, and also we got the following week off to get ready for online learning, and so that all the professors could transition. So I think that they gave us as much time as they could, given the circumstance.
Do you think your university set you up with the resources to have a successful online experience?
Yeah, I guess so. I can't really think of any resources that I specifically need, and they were good about making sure that everyone was comfortable, but then there's obviously a lot of students who maybe don't have the resources, so that I'm sure the college couldn't provide them with. So personally, it worked out fine for me, but I'm sure there's a lot of cases where it did not.
Right. Do you feel your work is impeded in any way by your current living situation?
Yes, in that I'm like in my own house and like I'm very comfortable here, but also like that kind of makes it hard to focus and like it was nice being at college because I had places I could go that were like quiet, good places to work where I didn't have any distractions. And it's a lot harder to be disciplined about learning when I'm in my own home.
Hmm.
Maybe that's just me, but like it my work is impeded through my own fault because I'm at my house, if that makes sense.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way about that. So,
It's just
um,
not a good setting for getting work done. I need like a special or place to get work done
are there other
specific.
people in your house working from home?
Yes, my dad always works from home, so that nothing changed for him. But yeah, my mom's working from home, and she
Hmm.
didn't used to. So um, our Wi-Fi works okay enough that I haven't had too many issues yet. But if we had more people, I think it would be hard to have everyone zoom in at the same time.
Hmm. Has your internship or job search been impacted by the coronavirus?
Yes. Um, I was doing a pretty non-traditional job search of just reaching out to theaters that I'd like to work for and sending them all of my portfolio and resume and basically asking if I could work them. And I got a few responses that were basically like, we will try our best to find a position for you this summer and we will put you on our overhire work list now, which is like people that they'll call if they need help, which happens a lot. So I got a lot of work calls for places that were scheduled for April and May that I was planning on working at. And now, since the whole theater industry is completely shut down, I do not anticipate getting any work anytime soon. And furthermore, as theaters recover from this in the coming year, I find it unlikely that I will get a job as easily as I could have if this did not happen.
Hmm. And then something a bit different. As for your preferred learning style, do you find yourself working better on a scale of 1 to 10, saying 1 is online learning and 10 is traditional classroom learning? Where would you put yourself in terms of where you prefer to learn?
I'd give myself like a 7 or 8 because I'm sure there are people who are having more trouble with it than I am.
Hmm.
I definitely don't like online learning. I'm learning okay this way. Like I am okay at like listening and taking notes and not needing a whole lot of in-person interaction. Like usually during classes, like I don't like ask too many questions. I just kind of like write stuff down. And I
Hmm.
like to think that I get the concepts pretty easily. So
Hmm.
it's not the worst, but also but just like it would be a lot better just have like that in-person connection. It's just easier to focus and understand things overall.
Hmm. Do you prefer to receive feedback on your work pretty consistently then?
Yeah. And we're definitely getting a lot less feedback on it
Hmm.
now.
Would you say you would prefer to work by yourself or in groups?
By myself.
And do you enjoy classes that focus on student participation more or focus on regular instructor lectures?
Um, I prefer regular instructor lectures,
Mhm.
unless it's like a class that if I really like the class, I'll want to participate. But like for like most of my classes, I'd rather just let the professor talk.
Mhm. How do you feel yourself as a learner overall functions in an online setting?
Um, can you clarify a little?
Are there any particular preferences you have in learning that I guess you haven't already talked about that haven't translated as well? You talked about professor interaction. Is
Yeah.
there?
Well, like specifically, if I can go back to like the art class I'm taking, it's
Mhm.
nice to have a professor with you while you're working to correct what you're doing and give you feedback while you're like halfway through something. so that you can adjust it rather than completing something and then showing them a picture and then having them give you feedback. Like, it's good to have a professor with you at all steps of the process to check in. And that's definitely something that you lose
Mm-hmm.
online, is like just having a professor there by your side. So I guess if that answers the question.
Mm-hmm. And then as for your interactions with your peers, how do you think that's changed?
Um, I mean, I guess I talk to people from my classes a lot less, like during class. So I'd like chat with people that I'm not like really close with, but like people to like talk about the class with, and I definitely don't do that anymore. And I'm still in touch with all of my friends from school, but yeah, I definitely have less interaction with the peers in my classes that aren't my friends, which is interesting.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about your experiences?
And not that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to be doing any extracurriculars during the semester?
Yeah, so I have a job in the paint shop at school where I paint all the sets for the plays that we do. And this it's kind of co-curricular because like I'm required to do some of the work for my degree. But so I work there, and I had just paint charged a show, which is when you direct all the painting on it. And I had just finished that, and that was about to go up, and that never opened. And then our final spring musical, we were about halfway through painting. It was a really big set, and I was actually the assistant designer on it. So I didn't get to go into tech for that show or finish working on it in the shop. So I didn't get to do that. I also was the paint advisor for a student awards show that we do called the Evie Awards. And those are not happening either. And then just like hanging out with friends and like doing stuff in Boston that I'd always do. I'm not doing anymore. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of non-academic stuff that I'm missing out on now.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think that's all I have. So
All right, I'm gonna
thank you for
stop recording.